Hey everybody, my name is Justin Von Meigen, and today I'm going to be talking about getting sold on what you do as an insurance agent. I'm going to talk about the most important part of this entire career, and it's getting sold on what you do, the products, the company that you're with, yourself, the people that you work with, the companies that you sell insurance with and for. So the reason why this is important is because you need to have a mission, right? Like you need to make sure that you're lined up with everything ethically and that you feel like you're doing the right thing for the right people at the right time. The reason why this is so important is because you have to be committed to your cause. You have to be committed to your goals. You have to be committed to what you want to do. Now, I'm not saying that you have to all of a sudden have this idea that life insurance is going to solve the world's problems, especially final expense. Personally, for me, I think final expense insurance helps people, but I don't think it's going to like change someone's family tree. So I hate when people are like, well, hate's a strong word, but I find it super corny when people are like, oh, I got into final expense to help people. It's like, bro, stop. If you wanted to help people, you'd volunteer and get into ministry or whatever, not sell life insurance, right? You got into life insurance to make money, and you can help some families along the way. Anyways, getting sold on what you do is super important, and I see this happen. I see this as the reason why agents fizzle out in the beginning, like the biggest reason why, and also why people have a slump over time. So I'm going to talk about avoiding that fizzle out in the beginning so you don't get discouraged. So number one, get committed to yourself. Are you a good person? Are you an ethical person? Do you feel like you do the right thing most of the time? Right? Do you try to be a good person? If that's the case, remind yourself that you are a good person. Hey, I'm a good person, and I have a good cause that I'm working for. You also have to get crystal clear on your vision. So you have to be stubborn on the vision. Like that, you have to know exactly what you want in your life and the life that you want to create. Because when you're out there every day in the trenches, listen, it's not fun. Like, not every day is fun. It can be fun. It can be a lot of fun, but every day is not fun. Some days you're going to make 400 or 500 calls. You're going to, if you're still one of those people in the field, then you could, knock on 20 doors, 30 doors, whatever it is, and not have a single sale. But you have to understand that, like, you have to be committed to your vision and what you want long term, because it's not like a job where you clock in, clock out, get paid. You're creating a life for yourself. So you're creating a future for yourself. And when you're creating a future for yourself, you're not too concerned with your present moment situation because you're living in the future. So you're already there, right? You're like, hey, I am a multimillionaire. I have a mansion log cabin, if there's even a thing. There are. But in Colorado, I got a house on the beach in South Florida. I got a house on a hill looking over the ocean in Puerto Rico. I have a plane. I have a helicopter in home in Massachusetts, so I can fly to New York and back whenever I want. New York City, if I want to go on a nice late night dinner, something like that. So I'm pretty crystal clear on my vision. Not just material things. Like I want to retire my father. I want to be able to pay for all of my friends' things in my life and the people that are close to me. Like I just feel good. Like when I don't know, maybe it's like a power trip, but I like being able to do those things. So I'm crystal clear on my vision, and I knew this right when I started selling insurance. It was like, I want to help people, and I know what I want for myself, and I know what I want for them. And every day, I embraced the pain. I embraced the suck, because I was creating that life for myself. Never once did I doubt that it was going to happen, ever. Like, I remember I was like so in debt when I started. It was crazy. From building everything out, I was over $100,000 in debt. I had like $60,000, $70,000 in chargeback, something crazy. And I was still like, yo, I'm going to make this work. And we're still working. But you got to get crystal clear on exactly what it is you want. Because if not, the things that you run into during the day in this business will knock you out 100%. Like, and that's why one of the things I used to ask people was, hey, what's the hardest thing you've ever been through in your life? And how'd you overcome it? Because like, you got to have resilience. So resilience comes from being sold on what you want to do, right? Resilience comes from being able to push through and endure the suffering of the moment and embrace it as part of the building process, not as part of, oh, this is just so bad. Like, man, stop being a little bee sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to tell myself this. So if I'm saying this to you, I have to say it to myself too, right? This is a message to me also. It's a reminder. Stop being a little bee word, because we're creating a life for ourselves. And if you don't take right now to start creating that life for yourself, listen, you got to take a moment at some point and be like, yo, I'm going to start creating something for myself, or else you're going to keep creating for someone else. And while you're creating for yourself, you can still create for someone else. So that's a whole different thing. But number one, get sold on yourself and your vision. You need to, like right now, I'm building out another company while I'm doing this, and I know exactly what I want this company to be, like crystal clear. So be stubborn on that. Next, you got to get sold on the companies that you sell with. Okay, you have to understand the products and at least have a few features about those products that you like, and that you got to be sold. You got to believe it's a good product and a good company, because then your conviction when you're in the close is much higher, and you're going to push. It's like if you had a family member who was on drugs and you're like, hey, you got to go to rehab, and they're like, no, I don't. You're like, you kidding me? Yeah, you do. We're going right now. So you got to have that strong conviction, like, hey, this is the best thing for you. Now, the best product doesn't mean the best price. Okay, we think personally here at SLS, the best company in the industry for final expense telesales is American Amicable. They have the fairest rates. Their rates haven't changed for a long time. They're very easy to work with. Their billing system is impeccable. It's great. So I'm super sold on charging someone more money for American Amicable. It's easier for me, and it's easier for the client. Claims are easier to get paid, everything else. And as I understand, hey, look, I got to take care of myself too. I used to be the guy who's like, hey, I'm going to try to find him the cheapest policy all the time. Look, don't do that. Don't do that. A lot of these people are going to cancel anyway. So like, whatever. You got to make sure you get your bills paid, because you can't service your clients if you're not in business. So it's totally ethical for you to make money and have a good profit, because if you can expand your business, you can take care of more people, right? So get sold on the products, get sold on the idea that making a lot of money is okay. It's okay to be rich, guys. It's okay to want a lot of money, right? Like, I got a big pair of glasses in here I wear that were $20, and these are probably $620, right? Like, it's cool. I like having nice things. I don't need them, but it's okay to have money. I used to be like, oh no, I don't want to spend. I don't need like the nice stuff. Look at the only people who say that are the people who like have never had nice things, I think. I don't know, but get sold on having nice things. It's okay, and get sold on making money. And then also, you got to get sold on the people you work with. That's important. So being sold on your upline. Who's your mentor, right? Has your mentor accomplished the things that you want in your life? Right? It's like, if someone's been divorced 3 times and is miserable, right? Or hasn't ever had a stable relationship, I'm not going to ask them for relationship advice. Right? Like, why would I? If someone isn't a hundreds millionaire or billionaire, I'm not going to ask them for financial advice. I will every now and then, but I'm usually going to research, like, hey, what would the guys worth like $1 billion do? A few hundred million, right? So that's where I want to be. I don't want to have $5-10 million. I want to have $500 million or $1 billion or more. So you got to take advice from those people. So get sold on your mentor. And your upline, obviously, you may not have an upline that makes $500 million a year, right? But what I'm saying is, you got to get sold on the person that you're working with. Like, hey, have they been a successful agent before? Have they been a successful producer? Have they built a team? And then you can apply the other things from the other mentors that you have in your life. So if you want to be a successful insurance agent, what's the best way to do that? Well, hey, I am going to learn from someone who's been a successful insurance agent. Let me find someone who's a good producer to learn from. So this is really important. And then getting sold. So it's you, the product, the company, and your vision. Now, what can happen? You can start and be super sold along the way. You have to resell yourself every single day on this stuff too, guys. You got to wake up and be like, am I a good person? Do I work with good people? Someone may do something that pisses you off here and there. You may have disagreements, but that doesn't make them a bad person. They can still align with your vision. So every day, get resold. And what I found is agents oftentimes will fall into a sophomore slump, which means they have a really good start, and then things kind of fade away, and they can't figure out why they're not selling as much anymore, or they don't have as much motivation to put in the same amount of effort, or whatever the case is. The most basic thing is to say, oh, well, they just have to get back to basics and start, listen to their call recordings, go over their sales process, stuff like that. No. If they haven't, most likely they haven't changed that much. And that is important to do, for sure. You do want to do that. But before that, you have to make sure you get resold on your goals. What can happen along the way? Well, someone in your family can say, life insurance agent, they don't make any money. Oh, I know so many people who did that, they ended up broke. They quit. Or that's a waste of your time. Or what are you going to do when you grow up? Right? Or yeah, but like you do that on the side, but what's your career, right? Or you could have someone saying negative things about it. You could have someone saying negative things about life insurance. Maybe you have a client who, maybe you love the carrier that you're with. Then you talk to a client, they're like, no, they denied my husband's claim, or they denied my daughter's claim, and they never got paid out, Then you're like, hey, maybe I don't like this company anymore. Maybe something happened where you're like, hey, I'm not sold on myself anymore. Maybe you did something unethical in a sale. Maybe you clean sheeted a deal. So the person's like, yeah, I smoke. And you're like, okay, well, have you ever told a doctor? And they're like, no. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to put you down as non-smoker then. And then subconsciously you're like, man, I just lied on an application. I just committed insurance fraud. And you feel guilty about it inside. And sometimes those things can add up over time, right? To where we don't feel good about ourselves anymore. We're not sold on ourselves in the mission that we're trying to fulfill. So you got to go through and resell yourself all the time, every day, guys. Resell yourself on what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you guys stay focused, get the energy and motivation you need. Because if you come into this and treat it just like a job, where you're like, hey, I'm gonna show up at 8, I'm leaving at 6. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, no one in business ever gets successful like that. And I'm telling you guys, there's no middle ground anymore. You either struggle or you don't. That's it. And it's kind of always been that way. Like, people have this false idea of comfort, in my opinion, and we can disagree on that. I'm sure people disagree with me on that, but I think, like, dude, you either got it or you don't. And it's very important that we work on making sure that we got it. And the way that you do that is show up every day, put in massive effort. And to do that, you have to be sold on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope this helps anybody who is a new agent and is trying to get that oomph, that pump. Find something that's energizing and exciting for you. I don't care how big it sounds, how ridiculous it sounds. If you go, I've never had anybody who's mega successful tell me that my dreams and goals are too much. I've never had anybody say that. And I know that your dreams aren't too much, your goals aren't too much. So get sold on what you want to do. And I hope this helps you guys have a successful career in the insurance industry. You're going to want to watch this next video coming up for sure. Subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Also, if you'd like to work with me, reach out to me at jve@thejve.com, or at least apply, check out our system. We provide unlimited final expense leads to our agents at 55% commission plus bonuses. So it's a great way for an agent to have an unlimited amount of leads to call and learn our system, learn our sales process. I go through training with everybody. Like, we have daily training calls, so it's a great way to start or pick up a difficult start to a career in the insurance industry. Thank you, everybody.